Economics is not different from other subjects or other topics. In economics also we show models. Here we are going to show you two models about economy. The first model, it's called the circular flow diagram. The circular flow diagram. Why do they call it circular? Because it's like a blood circle. We have here a flow of what? A flow of production and a flow of money. So it is basically the definition of circular flow diagram is a visual model of the economy, shows how money flows through markets among households and firms. So what do you mean by households and firms? Basically, in the circular flow diagram, we have two actors or two players in the economy. We have the households, usually we call them people or consumers, and we have firms. They are the producers who produce goods and services. Also, we have two markets here. We have the market for goods and services, and we have the market for factors of production. So, for example, when you want to go and buy clothes, we want to buy, for example, food or drinks, where do you go? You go to the market. For example, you go to the supermarket. You go to the, for example, Carrefour to buy some goods and services. But for example, if you want to produce goods, if you have a firm, if you have a company, you want to produce goods, let's say food, drinks, where do you go? You go to the industrial area to produce, for example, clothes, or to produce cars, or to produce other products. So this is, we call it the market for factors of production, which is basically the industry where you produce the goods and services. So in the circular flow diagram, we have two actors and we have two markets. Again, the actors or the two players are people or consumers. Also, we have the producers, which are basically the firms. At the same time, we have two markets, market to sell goods and services, and we have market to produce these goods and services. So when we talk about factors of production, as we said, factors of production means when you produce goods and services, you have different factors, or you have different things that would help you to produce. You have different things that will help you to produce your products and services. So it is what's called the resources that economy uses to produce goods and services, such as we need labor. In any factory, you need labor, people who can work for you. Also, you need land. If you have a car factory, you have clothes factory, you have mobile phones factory, you need the land so you can produce your goods and service. Also, you need capital. What do you mean by capital? We need money. We need money, we need buildings, we need machines to buy so we can produce the goods and services. So remember here, when we talk about these factors of production, it is part of what? It is part here of the, part of the firms. Firms, when they produce products and services, they need these factors of production. So here, this is the figure of the circular flow diagram. As we said, we have two actors, two players, households, we call them people or consumers, and we have firms, firms that produce goods and services. Households, they have two roles. Whether they work as an employee, or they work, or they try to sell or rent their land, for example. If you have a land, you can rent it to another factory. If you, for example, if you have a building, if you own a building, you will rent it to another company. So probably you contribute to the factor of production, or you go to the market and buy and consume goods. You pay money, you go to the market and pay for your clothes, you want to buy a new mobile, a new TV, and so forth. So here, as a household, you have two roles. Firms, at the same time, also they have two roles. They buy or hire factors of production. So firms, for example, they buy, for example, a land from you. They buy a land from households or from people, or they rent a land from people. Also, they hire people. They hire people because usually when you want to produce something, you need people. So whether they buy, hire factors of production, they use them to produce goods and services. Also, when they produce something, what do they go? Where do they go? They go to to the market to sell these goods, for example, sell goods and services. And as we said, whether, for example, women accessories, bags, mobile phones, you name it, whatever it is. So here we have two roles for people or households, and we have two roles for firms and or companies. So this is the diagram. As we said, we have here two lines in this diagram. We have the red line, which represents the factors of production. Here we consider households as the input. They are the input of factors of production to the firms, which means that firms, they need people, they need resources to produce goods and services. From where do they get these resources? For example, land, they need, for example, money. From where you get the money? You get it from the investors. Investors are part of the people, right? Or the households. So here, firms, if you need money, you get money from investors. You need a land, you rent land from people. You need, for example, labor or employees. You hire people to work in the firm. When the firm they hire people, what do? They pay what? They pay wages. So here the green line is what? Is the flow of the money, the flow of the money. So here we have the red line is the flow of factors of production, and the green line is the flow of the money. So firms, when they hire people, they give money, wages or salaries to people, and people, they consider it as their salary or their income. Also, when companies, they rent a land from a person, they pay them what? They pay them rent, right? Also, when companies, they invest, they get money from investors. So here we are investors, we invest money in firms. What do we get in return? We get profit. So when we have a profit, for example, you make a deposit in a bank. The bank, after 3 years or 5 years, they will give you a profit. So they will send money to you because you invest your money. You put a deposit in a bank, and they will provide a profit for you after a period of time. Also here, when you have money, what you are going to do? You are going to spend it where? Spend it in the market. So whether you have a profit from a bank or you have a salary, when you work in a company, in an organization, you have a salary and you spend it. You go to the co-op, supermarket, you go to shopping mall, and you spend it there. And other companies, when you go, for example, let's say you go to H&M and you buy some clothes, this money is considered for H&M as what? We call it as revenue or sales. They receive sales or revenue from customers. At the same time here, as we said, when firms produce goods, let's say H&M, they sell these goods and services to who? They sell it to consumers or to people. So here, as you can see, this is the full picture of the circular flow diagram. Again, we call it circular because, as you can see, it's a circle. It goes on and on. It goes on and on. And as you can see here, we have two circles. We have the inner circle and we have the outer circle. The inner circle, which represents the red color, it's the flow of the production. So here, firms, they use people to make goods and services. After they make goods and services, they produce it, they sell it to customers. They sell it to customers in the market of goods for goods and services, as you can see here. The outer or the green color represents the flow of the money, So here, households, they get money if they work for companies. Let's say, assume, for example, me as a teacher, I work for my college. I get money, the college pays me, right? The college pays me. This is my income. And I go, for example, to a shopping mall. I spend it. I buy some clothes. I buy some food. I buy some drinks. And for example, if I go to Carrefour, Carrefour will get this money from me and consider it as what? As revenue for them. So that's pretty much a simple circle. Of course, here we we did not explain the full circular flow diagram. We try to keep the graph simple. We have omitted the government and the financial system and foreign sector